am particularly excited to get things started by power ranking the quarterbacks that remain here right now. Because, usually we're doing the power ranking teams, the top 10s. We're down to 8 right now. The odds tell us already what those 1 through 10 are. But let's go through the quarterbacks here. And I want to start from the bottom up because this is where our lists are similar. I feel bad for the guy, especially after the opening performance that he had for the playoffs, but Baker Mayfield is very clearly number 8.
Well, I think everybody who put a list would put Baker number 8. He's had moments of having a good season. I think we get carried away with this notion that Baker has had this great season. If you watched all the Bucs games, I don't think you would say that. If you watched them closely, I don't think you'd say that. But he's had moments where he's played really well. And he's won games. The Atlanta game, for 3 quarters, he was not very good. 4th quarter leads him on a drive. They win the game, makes a great throw in the back of the end zone. So, that's where he is for me and for you. And I think everybody would have him as the 8th best quarterback, which is why we're seeing the line in Detroit go to 6.5, even though there's some elements of that game that favor the Bucs in the matchup.
Sure. And again, when we think about what Baker Mayfield has done this year, for sure exceeded expectations. They win 5 of their last 60 games down the stretch. He does something that no Tampa Bay Buccaneers quarterback has done in postseason history, throw for over 300 yards and 3 touchdowns in a game. And actually, if you look down that stretch of their final 6 games, he was top 10 in passer rating, 11 touchdowns, 3 picks, 1,456 yards. He was great down the stretch, despite dealing with injuries. Still 8 of 8 when it comes to the quarterbacks remaining. We both also have Jared Goff at number 7, and that is the matchup, right? It's Lions Bucks, but those are the 2 bottom quarterbacks right now.
Well, we have good Goff and bad Goff. We've seen both of them, right? We've seen the good Goff, but we've seen the bad Goff. Good Goff is inside usually, and against this Bucks team, which if they try to pressure him, he'll be very effective. But if they don't, and he has time to throw, this offense is very good, and I think he proved it when he went down to Tampa in October and was really good throwing the football. They only scored 20 points, but he was exceptional.
Michael, I have to laugh that you said good Goff is inside. Did you see the reporter ask the question to Todd Bowles this week about the weather conditions?
Can you imagine, how do you not even know that they have a dome? What planet do you live on?
So I feel
it's called
bad. Go ahead.
You're so nice. You're too nice. You see, this is why you grew up in Vegas and I grew up in Jersey. You're just way too nice.
No, I feel bad.
How do you feel bad for somebody being stupid?
Because here's why I feel bad. Because I have a feeling that this person is not a sports person, period. And we know, I talked about this earlier.
What are they doing there then?
Exactly. So
what are they doing
for
there?
Anybody who's sitting in their car listening to us driving right now, if you have never been in a press conference, a weekly press conference or anything like that, there are a lot of reporters and people that are in this room that do not actually cover sports, but their station has cut sports. They send a random person there. And unfortunately, more often than not, those stations like to have the response to a question be from their talent or their person that asked the question. So they ask a question. I hate that if you don't know basic information, don't ask a question. Just take whatever sound comes in. But they have these people that don't know or care to know about sports that are in these rooms asking questions, and it drives me nuts. The amount of bad questions we hear in these press conferences is crazy.
Insane. But this isn't a bad question. This is the dumbest of all.
It's just
dumb.
you
know the game's in Detroit, and you know they play inside. So, you did no preparation. You just showed up for the job. Really?
That's why I said, if you don't know basic information, we should not be opening our mouths. And credit Todd Bowles for the way that he handled the question, too. He was actually pretty nice about it, which he did not have to be. But that's what makes our job so much harder when people go into these conversations with head coaches and say stuff like that. That's why media gets a bad rap. That is why. Okay, number 6. This is where we start to differ a little bit, I believe. You have C.J. Stroud at 6. I have C.J. Stroud at 3 on my list, Michael. 3.
Mm-hmm.
So why do you have him 6?
Look, I think there's a lot of history that goes in this, right? I think 6, he and Love, I have 6 and 5. Okay, so I have to put them together because it's the same conversation. Because at the end of the day, there's not a lot of history, whereas my top players have been in these games before and have played well. If Stroud continues to play at this pace, certainly he's going to move up the ladder, no question.
Youngest quarterback to win a playoff game, yeah.
inventory. There wasn't enough inventory for me to sit there and say, well, you're better than Mahomes and you're better than Allen. I can't say that because not enough inventory. There's not enough proof. I like to have confidence with evidence.
No, I think that's fair. And the reason why I put CJ Stroud so high for me personally was just because I look at that performance that he had against a defense that we have considered all year long as one of the best in the NFL. And he was surgical against them. And he's had so many historic moments for a rookie quarterback from a franchise standpoint, what he's been able to do. I've just been so impressed. And I was shocked, too, when I was putting this together that I put him so high. But I could not help myself. Jordan Love, very similar situation for me. I had him at 6. But you have him there at 5 as well. I agree. He was great against the...
Who did you have 6? Who did you put 6?
I have Jordan Love at 6, and I have Brock Purdy at 5.
Okay. Yeah. See, again, for me, I have Purdy at 4. Okay, we'll go to 4. Because Purdy has done this all year. I mean, he had the bad game against Baltimore. We know he had the concussion against Minnesota. And Cleveland, he was hurt, but his numbers, I mean, ridiculous. Almost 10 yards per attempt. I mean, Stroud's played well. He hasn't played as well on the road. Let's not forget now, I know Stroud's playing great, and I'm a full bore on him. But he did lose on the road to the Carolina Panthers. They did. And Bryce Young won that game.
I have no argument.
And Love lost. And Love lost to the Raiders in Las Vegas, and he looked horrible. Remember that game? I mean, LaFleur was trying to keep them from affecting the game. And they both have developed and blossomed into great players. And Love's been on this streak. I mean, you imagine we're talking about Love as one of the top players in the league after he loses to Tommy DeVito. Where's Tommy going to be in this ranking?
And that's why the Giants are done. But so I totally agree with everything you're saying there, Michael. But as much as I love Brock Purdy and the 49ers, it hasn't been all sunshine and rainbows for him, specifically in these primetime standalone games. That's why I have him 5 instead of higher. 3-2 in primetime games this year, 56 QBR, 8.5 yards per pass attempt, 8 touchdown to 7 interception ratio. All other games, he's 9-2, 80 QBR, 10.2 yards per attempt, 23 touchdowns to 4 interceptions. He's a different guy. So I get worried about these standalone performances. Okay, who do you have 3?
I know. I do too. For me, 3 was Mahomes. I mean, Mahomes is, not having the same kind of year he typically has. So you got to knock him down a little bit. Hasn't been able to put the team on his shoulders and carry him. Got to knock him down a little bit. So, but he's still better than everybody else, and he's still dangerous. You're still not driving to the stadium Sunday morning or getting ready to play this playoff game thinking, well, Mahomes isn't playing good, we'll beat him. No. You won't. He's still playing good enough to win the game. So he's a huge concern, and I have him 3rd of the 8 guys in this game.
Okay, let's do the ultimate reveal. We have Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson remaining. Who's 1, who's 2?
I went Lamar 2 because I think Lamar's got better people around him. He's got more, I would say, more talent. Let's say whether it's Zay Flowers, whether it's Odell, whether it's Bateman, whether it's, the Andrews coming back likely. A better offensive line, I think. He's got a pretty good supporting cast, and he's so talented. And there have been times he's had to carry the team on his back, but no one has to carry the team like Allen. Okay. Like, Allen is he shifts the field in his favor. Can he get him to the Super Bowl alone? It's going to be hard, but he's capable, but I'm not saying he will. I'm not saying he won't. It's just, to me, if the Bills get there, it's because he's the number 1 guy in the tournament. Okay.
I love that argument, and that's why I like the Bills this week, is because I think that Josh Allen is an incredible talent. I actually, oddly enough, put Josh Allen 4 on this list because of the turnovers. So for me, my top 3 went Lamar Jackson, Patrick Mahomes, CJ Stroud. I already made my case for Stroud. I put Lamar Jackson 1 because he's the MVP. In the biggest of games that he has played this year, he stepped up. The Christmas Day game against the 49ers, 5 touchdowns against Miami. I feel like with Lamar, it's harder to quantify what he does through the numbers and easier just to watch and learn and see. And I put Patrick Mahomes too because like this year, he has had to overcome mediocrity around him more than any other year, and they're still in the position they are. And you like Kansas City this week specifically. Patrick Mahomes obviously is a huge piece of that, and now he actually has a weapon, and he has somebody other than Travis Kelce and Rashee Rice that's starting to figure things out. So that's my order. Lamar, Mahomes, Stroud, Allen from there. Thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, look, Allen turns the ball over too much. I can't argue with that, but I can't defend some of his mistakes. But in terms of a game that gets to the fourth quarter and is close, and he just seems like he has above and beyond the skill. He can't tackle the big guy.
And we talk about the turnovers being so problematic. He actually hasn't had that problem in his postseason history. 20 touchdowns to just 4 interceptions in Josh Allen's playoff career, and obviously got off to a pretty dang good start this past week with a 4-touchdown performance and 0 turnovers.